and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today, guys, we're going to be jumping down into the world of Bitcoin, taking a look at the recent price action and what we think this might lead us into in the near future. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, selecting all the notifications, and you will not miss another video here at Cheeky Crypto. And of course, if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, you're missing a trick, guys. Go ahead and join it. Links in the description below. It's free, and it's the first place that we go to tell you about the things that are happening in real time within this crypto industry. So definitely do go ahead and check it out if you want to be ahead of the game. If you want to know about FTX before FTX crashes, the Discord server is the place to be. In the description down below, you'll also find links to the Patreon services. We actually offer a lot more for Patreon members via the Discord server, so why not check that out as well in the description below. Let's take a look. Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. Now, we've got some complicated structures to talk about. So this does require a little bit of knowledge on Elliott wave theory to truly understand exactly what this could potentially lead us into. So I'll try to do this as I guess, as cleanly as I can to help explain this. But do join us in the Discord server, and we'll try to explain it if it doesn't make sense a little bit more. But okay, let's talk about this. Okay, so we have this kind of movement to the upside. Okay, now this particular pattern reminds me of something that market makers like to do, which essentially is go up, go sideways, go up, go sideways, go up, go sideways, and then mirror this on the way down as well. Okay, so let me actually just bring this over here for a second, and I'll draw that out a little bit better, right? So price goes up, the price then goes sideways, it goes up, it goes sideways, it goes up, it goes sideways, and then it comes down, it goes sideways, down, it comes sideways, and it comes down. Okay, so it looks like this. And this is a typical kind of pattern where people, the price goes up when people are shorting the market, and they think, okay, that's fine, we've reached the top, we'll now short the market up here, and then price goes up again. They're like, nah, okay, that's got to be it. It's a simple, A, B, C structure. So it can go sideways, they short the market up here, and then the price goes up. And then by this point, they're fed up with shorting the market, they go long right at the top, and then the price does in reverse. It's just a dip over here. We'll still go long, and the price comes down. No, it's just it. It's got to be done. That's another ABC. We're done down here. Now we'll go up. And then by the time it comes down here, they realize that they made all the wrong mistakes, right? They're basically going short when you should go long, and going long when you should go short. Okay, this is a market maker thing. You see this from time to time. It's not that frequent, but it does come up. And that's kind of what this kind of reminds me of a little bit. I'm not saying that's exactly what it is, but it just kind of reminds me of that, right? We have this little area of consolidation, this area of consolidation. We have this little area of consolidation. Then we push back up again. Okay, so it just reminds me of that. It's not like a guarantee that that's exactly what's going on here, but I'm very suspicious by nature, and it does look a little bit odd. Now, from an Elliott wave theory point of view, we can actually start to make sense of it a little bit differently. Okay, and we start thinking, okay, well, what's actually going on here? Well, there's different structures. So the first, all of this really could be 5 waves. Now, 5 waves, there are some specific rules with these things. Wave 2 cannot retrace behind, lower than the origin level. Okay, so it has to be usually 50 to 88.2% retracements. Wave 4 is not allowed to intersect with wave 1 unless it's a diagonal. And then wave 5 is usually 1.236 to 1.618 of wave 4. So the lower the wave 4 goes, the higher that wave 5 goes, and all that kind of usual stuff. Now, why do I say these things? So in here, we've got some interesting structure. We can't do something like this because this doesn't make sense. Okay, so we can't do that. Wave 3 has to be 1.618 times that of wave 1, so we know that's not a thing. So we take a look at this deeper, and we actually come up with a pretty interesting pattern. It's actually right in here. 1, 2, 3. Down here for 4, and all of this here is 5. It's an overextension within 5, meaning that you have 5 waves inside your 5th wave like that. Okay, and all of that is actually a wave 3, which means I can come back down to the bottom here and go wave 1, wave 2, all of that's wave 3, this is 4, and that is 5. And this 5th wave movement to the upside here looks like it's an ending diagonal, meaning that we do have 5 waves in here as well. And we go up, we come down, we go up, we come down, and we're looking to go back up again. Okay, and we end up with this kind of diagonal, kind of zigzaggy kind of pattern going on that happens in the wave 5. Can also happen in the wave 1, but in the wave 1, it's actually really, really compact. So this is one scenario, but what does this mean? It means that essentially you don't normally see 5 waves on their own. Okay, so if I come back to my blank area over here, we have 5 waves that go up like that. That's hypothetically what this whole entire structure is, right? If we have this right here, you would expect to actually go down in 3 and then go up in 5 more. So you'd go something like this. Okay, and this is one scenario that plays out. This is actually technically called a zigzag pattern and is A, B, and C. Okay, and it looks like that, and it's broken up into 5, 3, 5. Essentially 5 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up. Okay, so that's kind of like where my mind went to initially. And then I started thinking, what if that is a little bit too neat? What if that's a little bit too tidy to be what's going on here? And then it got me into thinking, what if I zoomed out a little bit more, what could we actually be looking at? It could actually be that we're still inside this B wave and we're yet to actually see this C wave complete. And that would actually be a really interesting structure. What would that be? That would be called a running flat correction. You come up in an A, you come down in a B, and you come up here in a C. And the C wave does not go higher than the A wave, but the B wave definitely does go down lower than the origin level. These are running flat corrections, and you can see it was just kind of trading sideways during this entire moment. And the running flat basically means it's not an irregular flat, and it's not a regular flat. It basically means that the C wave just falls short of those typical kind of movements that you would normally see within those particular types of patterns. Now, when it comes to flat corrections, they always have to end in 5 waves. You can't have a flat correction that doesn't end in 5 waves. So when we have this here, we can kind of then make sense of actually, this is a pretty interesting structure. This would catch out a lot of people. A lot of people don't understand these ones, and 5 waves are pretty simple to understand, and you can look for diagonal moves, you can look for extensions, you can look for all those things, and they're not too bad to understand. But running flat corrections sometimes catch a lot of people out. And it got me thinking that this particular move to the upside, a retracement of around 50% before having another 5 waves up, is still possible, of course. But then I thought, well, the momentum doesn't necessarily tell us that it's there. So if the momentum is indicating that we're likely to see some downward price pressure, then actually the running flat scenario is the one that is most probable to me. So just kind of keep these things in mind. Initially, I thought it was as simple as 5 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up in that zigzag pattern, and we're going to come up and test a little bit higher. But then during our Twitch stream this morning, I thought to myself, no, there's something a little bit irregular about what is going on here. Specifically on that daily chart, if I bring up our daily chart here, bring this over, you can see something really odd, which is that the stochastic RSI has moved very rapidly back to this overbought area. It's not quite there yet, but it's close to it. And that's irregular because it shows momentum behind price movements, right? It shows us that the price movement over the last few days hasn't had a lot of momentum behind it. It's basically going from oversold to overbought without doing terribly too much in the way of price movements. And if we do actually come back up into this overbought area whilst going in and setting lower highs, essentially it means that we're likely to get a breakdown to the downside incredibly fast. So it means that there's less people willing to buy right now and actually a lot more people willing to sell. So this daily chart is a bit of a warning, I guess, to kind of being overly simplistic with our hourly chart. Okay, so our hourly chart with a 5-wave move to the upside, it could quite easily be a zigzag pattern 535, and we could be targeting, $17,500. But on the flip of that, the momentum indicator is telling us that actually there is a lack of momentum to the upside, meaning that's highly unlikely to occur. And therefore, all of this move could just be our, flat correction, our running flat correction. That basically means we're ready to kind of maybe move down towards our $13,000 level. So there's a lot of things to be thinking about. And then, of course, this is just charting and price action. We can obviously compound this down further by taking a look at the on-chain metrics as well. We take a look at the inflows, we take a look at the outflows, and it helps us understand, what's going on here as well. It helps us understand whether or not there's actually a lot of demand coming in or whether or not there isn't, right? So we actually saw a bit of an outflow surge again yesterday, and this is no shock and no surprise as more people look to self-custody their crypto assets. And when we take a look at the wallet counts, we can see that retail money is definitely being withdrawn, or say money, but retail Bitcoin is being withdrawn from the exchanges and reasonably rapidly. We're now at 949,000 wallets for the one Bitcoiners, so a pretty sizable amount. And even the dolphins aren't too far, lagging behind with 152,000 with 10 Bitcoin or more. And on the whale side of things, well, actually not terribly too much going on. We saw a little bit of fluctuation to the downside on the Kraken-sized wallet. The whale wallet slightly spiked up, but nothing unusual, and the same with the sharks. So when I take a look at everything from the on-chain metric side of things, I'm leaning on this flat correction being the one that I think is the most likely to play out. So I wouldn't be too surprised if the price does break down lower than this $15,476 level, which would be an invalidation if we did cross that level for that zigzag 535. So yeah, I guess on the short term, I'm expecting a small push upwards as we haven't finished this fifth wave just yet. So I'm expecting a little bit of a push to the upside, but it'll be short-lived. And then I do think we are likely to collapse back to the downside, where essentially we'll be targeting out, a pretty interesting drop. And we tell you one thing though, if we start with 5 waves coming down like this, it's almost a guarantee that we're going to be going down into those lower lows in, a pretty rapid way. If we start seeing really choppy corrective patterns, maybe just like 3 waves down, and then we go up in 3 waves, and then we start coming back down in 3 waves and stuff like that, then it still leaves us with the scenario that maybe a zigzag pattern is in place. So we'll keep those things in mind. But for the most part, I really wanted to kind of communicate out the fact that there's 2 potential scenarios in my mind right now. We've got the 535 zigzag to the upside, about $17,500 target approximately, or we've got the running flat correction and we're about to top that out and then collapse down, dropping down probably lower into a new lower low, below the $15,476 level. Guys, I'm going to leave the video right there. This maybe was a little bit complicated and hard to follow. Do join us down in the Discord server, linked in the description below. If you're looking to learn a little bit more, why not check out those Patreon services as well in the description below. If you found it useful, smash the like button. I appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and you won't miss another video. Until the next one, have a fantastic day.